Hey, what up, y'all? I'm going super low budget with this podcast here, right here. I'm just literally, as you can tell, sitting here in my car. Actually, what I'm doing right now is I'm waiting on my son. He's wrapping up his last week of spring football. And so this is my son's, actually both my boys. It's their first year playing spring football. So they were flag football all-stars. But, I was like, all right, buddy, it's time for you to get creamed when you go across the middle and just get splattered. Just absolutely smashed. Just full concussion. No, I'm kidding. It's not been like that. It's a great team. Anyway, that's not why you're tuning in. This is not what the podcast is about. Here's the deal. I've got a very significant date for me. Uh, for lack of a better term, it is what I call my launch date. Okay. I actually keep this up in my studio. It's a flyer from the very first show that I ever flew out to. The very first show that anybody deemed me worthy enough to spend money on a plane ticket to come get me. It was April 22nd, 1995, and the place was Huntsville, Alabama, and it was for me to open up for the Gospel Gangsters. It was my man, Minister Fred, who's still around, still doing his thing. He brought out a very young, I can't even say KJ52, because that wasn't even my rap name back then. A very young, brace yourself, first rap name, King J Mac. King J Mac. That was my first rap name. I'd love to say that there was some great thought that went into that there was like this deep prayer session, lots of fasting, thinking, consulting scripture. It just sounded cool. My name was Jonah. So, hey, what do you want to say? I was 18 years old. I don't know how many great ideas you had at 18, but that's what I was. So I consider this day very significant for me because a lot of things happened at this show. One, like I said, it was before I even had any music out. Like I might have had like one song on a compilation album, and that was about it. I hadn't even finished my first EP, which is called Back from the Grave. I was still working on it. I'm trying to even remember what songs I did at the show. I probably did all 4 songs that I had written because I didn't have any more. But it was significant for me just because of that moment, because somebody flew me out, because at this show, when I opened up for the Gospel Gangsters, who I did not know, they were amazing. I super looked up to those guys. Still homies with Chili Chill to this day. Rest in peace, Mr. Solo, who passed away a couple years back. But it was actually at this show where where I was given what I could only say is a prophetic word. And it was during our prayer time. It was the Gospel Gangsters manager. And this was not some big, scary, try to knock me over, slay me in the spirit. It was nothing like that. He just walked over. He said, "Hey, I feel the Lord impressing on me that when you come back from this show, you're going to meet the woman that you marry." And sure enough, I did. Not immediately, but within a couple months, I went on my first date with the woman who I have been married to for 26 years now. And that was also significant because it was the same week that I met my first rhyme partner, Golden Child, and eventually we formed what was called Sons of Intellect, and so on and so on and so on. So I'm saying all this because we are coming up on exactly 30 since that day. And that's significant to me because I didn't think about that. I've kept this flyer from that show for years. I've kept it because how much it meant to me, how much that was significant to me, how much that, like, I was just a 19-year-old kid. I spent the whole week there doing like outreach and just rhyming in like, boys' homes and like outreach centers and like anywhere and everywhere, boys after school clubs. It was just a week of like showing me like, hey, you're raw, you're just getting started, you got a lot to grow as an artist, but you can do this. Here's why I'm talking about all this. And I'm going to put up some of those songs. I'm going to put them up on my Patreon. For those who don't know, I got a Patreon. It's patreon.com/KJ52. You can check that out. And I'm going to put up a couple exclusive tracks from that era, from 1995, stuff that I've never put out before. But all this got me thinking, and what it got me thinking about was the fact that, 30 years is a long time to do anything, much less do Christian hip hop. I mean, Christian rap sounds like an oxymoron, like Jumbo Shrimp or something like that. Christian, but hip hop. No, I mean, now that doesn't sound like anything crazy, but back then, trust me, it seemed like something crazy. All that to be said is that I have kicked around the idea of doing what I could only call a box set. Okay. And when I say box set, you know me, I don't do anything typical. I don't do nothing normal. Everything I do is pretty weird, actually, but I would love to I got like I got three eras in my life musically. I've got what I did independently before I got a record deal in 1999, and that's like my King J Mac stuff, my Sons of Intellect stuff with Golden Child, and then there's like this era of about 15 years where I was signed to two record labels, where that's where I think a lot of you guys know me from. It's from albums like Pronounce 5-2, Behind the Music, collaborations, Seventh Avenue, all those like beginning albums for me is where, a lot of my fans, you guys have stuck around from. And, a lot of y'all were kids when I was out. You know what I mean? Like you were literal kids when I was performing. So I was barely older than you, but I was probably performing for you guys. And a lot of you have stuck with me for a very long time. And so like that is like really significant to me. Hip hop's not getting older, we're just getting better. All right. But then I have this other era, which is when I finished out my contract with my record label and I was independent. And I still am. I still put out my own music myself. I do stuff in conjunction with people. My last two projects have been with Marty from Apollo, Marty from Social Club, aka Social Club Misfits, and he has a label called Apollo. But I've really done stuff independently for like the last 10 years. So I've got about 10 albums that some of you have heard, some of you haven't. So I got like 3 eras. I got like this pre-record deal era, my record deal era, and then my post-record deal era. And you add all that up, it's like 30 years, which is crazy. And I've always thought about like, what would it take to put all this together, but in a very unique way? You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of the music is out of print, and like I can't just get it. You know what I mean? It's not that simple. Stuff I put out myself I can get, but like a lot of it's out of print. Here's my idea, and I would really love some feedback. Tell me what you think about this. The idea would be, I put my first 2 eras on a USB cassette. So it's basically like a hard drive, but it looks like a little cassette. And you can plug that in and you can get all that music from those first 2 eras, put it right on your computer. Some stuff you may already have, some stuff is already streaming, some stuff you've never heard, okay? Then my third and last era, the era that I'm in right now, from 2015 till now, I'm going to put that in a, what I would call a wrap case. I don't know if you guys remember those, CD wallet, that era, when you had, man, this is going to show my age. I don't care. All my gray shows my age. Either way, I'm just saying, if you're like millennial or Gen X, like your CD collection was like a badge of honor, right? And we always had like these little CD wallets that we kept them in, or we had like a Case Logic case. I don't know what you had. I had like the infinite, like the big one with you could flip through. And there was just something about being like, what am I going to play? Or you would like hand it to your friend and they would go through and they'd pick. Like it's the original playlist, right? Or maybe you burn some mixes in there, like whatever. I miss that feeling, right? I miss the feeling of like curating your own music. And I know we do that with playlists, and I know we do that now. I'm not saying we don't do it, but I just think something got lost when we lost some of the physical product. And so what I would love to do is then put all those albums from 2015 on CD, which they already are, but just the CD, and I would put it in a CD wallet. And that CD wallet, you'd get it all. They'd all be signed. I'll probably put a couple bonus albums in there that haven't come out, so you'd be the first ones to hear it, and it would be really exclusive. And that's what I would put out. That would be my box set. One cassette, USB cassette with, a ton of music that, is like older than some of you have been alive, and then a CD wallet with everything from 2015 to 2025 now. And that would be my happiest way that I could celebrate 30 years of doing music. I would love to see what you think about that, because I know some of you are going to be like, I don't even got a CD player. I respect that. I get it. You could use it as a drink coaster. You could use it as a Frisbee. You could hang it off your ear like an earring. You could put it over your eyes and just look through like they're cool glasses. And if you hate the music on the USB cassette, just wipe it all out and you can put Blues Clues on there. You know what I mean? You can put whatever you want on there. You got a free hard drive, you know what I'm saying, that looks cool. You can erase my name, And I know this is like the opposite of what people do for box sets. Like people do these big, elaborate box sets. I want to do something that's like how we used to experience music, right? Those that were Gen X, those that are millennial. And I'll say it to the new generation too, because I have a junior high son who's in 8th grade who is absolutely fascinated with CDs, cassettes, and vinyl. Like he thinks it's so cool. Like he's actually kind of like I was at his age, which is bizarre, but he's got his CD collection. He saves up his money to go vinyl shopping. He's obsessed with music. And I know it's probably because his generation, like they got all the, the physical interaction taken away. They don't do it. So there's got to be something that's kind of cool. So I want to bring back that feeling. All right. I got a lot of music. I've done a lot of music. I'm still making a lot of music. Like the music has not disappeared. As long as there's stuff to talk about, I feel like I can still talk about it. And I don't feel like I've lost step skill wise. You know what I mean? Like to me, cat still rhymes with hat. Lyrical, miracle, spiritual. Like I still got it, y'all. And I'll be honest with you. Here's the other reason. it's going to be my 50th birthday, June 26th. And I wanted to do something significant for my 50th birthday. I was going to get in my first boxing fight. That was a terrible idea. I'm not going to do that because I don't got a lot of brain cells left and I need to save what I have. I don't want to jump out of a skydive. I don't want to skydive for my birthday. I don't want to do any of that. But just like always, like I've had an incredible fan base that has stuck with me for a very long time. And I still find myself meeting new people on my fan base. Like they're still discovering music, which blows me away. You know what I mean? And for those that don't know, I am a pastor. I've been a pastor for 5 years. I love it. I love pastoring people. I love pouring into people. I always thought like I might have to choose between music and pastoring. But the reality is I've been in this situation so many times over my life where I thought I'd have to choose. Like the first time I went on staff at a church, I was like, I guess I'll never rhyme again. And that never happened. I kept rhyming. I was like, I went off to Bible college. I was like, I guess I'm gonna have to quit. And then I kept going. So like every time I thought I've had to choose, God just says, keep writing what I keep putting on your heart. So if King David can write the Psalms and also lead people into battle, why can't I? Not lead people into battle, but you get the point. So I really would love to know what you think about it. I'm going to put some of those, and here's what I'm going to be doing with my podcast. Is for the next couple weeks, maybe in the next couple months, I'm going to be walking you guys through the different eras. Okay, I'm going to go on a nostalgia trip, just like you're going on a nostalgia trip, and we're going to go on a nostalgia trip together. I'm going to drop a lot of these songs exclusively onto my Patreon, so check that out, patreon.com/KJ52. But in the meantime, I just want to know if that's a good idea. Because if it is, I'm going to probably launch it. I'm going to launch the pre-sale on a very national holiday that many of you don't know of. It's an unofficial holiday, but National 5-2 Day. That's May the 2nd. That's a big deal. National 5-2 Day is a national holiday, or should be at this point. But I'm going to launch it then. All right. So love to hear what you think about it. Either shoot me a DM wherever you've seen this. Drop a comment wherever you watch this and let me know what you think. If it's a bad idea, just be like, hey, bro, give it up. Retire. Hang up the mic, man. You know what I mean? Like, fade off into the sunset, dude. Like, go out gracefully. If you think that, just let me know. If you don't, let me know if I should do it. Okay? Because I'm still working on music. Okay? I'm still rocking. I still got stuff in my heart. I got another 5 tracks that I'm working on with Marty even right now. So that's the deal. All right? So let me know what you think. All right? Love to hear from you. God bless you guys.